Hello everyone, I'm Charlie and this is Charlie's Reviews. So last Friday I did a quick review video of my two non-DC books that I picked up last week. So today I will review the DC books that I got. I went to the shop yesterday to pick up the rest of my pull. Now, I mentioned before I go to two shops. Um, I went on Thursday to the larger shop to pick up, my non-DC books, Ghost number 11 and uh, Lady Killer number 1 from Dark Horse. You know, those, that shop gets their books on time. I actually thought they were going to be late because on Wednesday they said there was a delay, but they had it on sale early Thursday. This other shop, which is much smaller, has been having problems with their shipping since last August. If you recall, I had to review a whole bunch of delayed books. Now they're getting their books on Fridays or on Saturdays. So I went yesterday, Monday, to the shop to get those. Uh, my DC books, which is where they get that shop gets most of my DC books. Um, been going there for like say 14 years. So, anyways, let's get on to the review. So first up, Action Comics number 38. I gotta say, finally, it's picking up. I've complained in the past about this whole post-doomed arc. The way characterization has been really off. Lana blames Clark for not saving her parents, despite the fact that she knew he couldn't really just focus on them. Uh, of course, that affected Clark, so he thinks, the world doesn't really need Superman, despite the fact that he is Superman in throughout this arc, so it's kind of contradictory to that point. There's a lot of contradiction there where we feel Superman's not really helping, but at the same time, he went on when there was trouble as Superman. But the arc itself, the story itself, is really good, and finally with this issue, I love this issue. This is more of it's picking up speed. It's more of a horror story, um, which is unusual for a Superman book. Um, and finally, we learned some things about the creatures that showed up last issue, and that was supposed to be the new version of the Ultra Human Knight. Uh, it's got connections with the Phantom Zone. Apparently, it escaped the Phantom Zone uh, because of Doomsday coming out of it, sort of created a tear. So it seems that the people of Smallville have been sort of given powers, because of Brainiac, uh, and they've been trying to, keep the creature within the town. We learned that it also feeds off of the fears of people as well, and because it's a little bit more of a horror story. It started, it's known as Horrorville instead of Smallville. We have a few flashbacks done by Jay Lee. The first couple of pages are flashbacks. Like I said, we have some, zombie cans as well. Um, created by this really strange looking creature. So yeah, I'm definitely liking where it's going. Like I said, unusual for Superman to have a true horror story. Um, so you know, it's a really nice. No, well, so it's interesting, that Greg Pak really went out of the box for this arc, doing something that is, not commonly um, associated with Superman. So yeah, finally, great issue. Green Arrow number 38, which features the sort of first official New 52 team up between Green Lantern and Green Arrow. Um, so yes, um, Green Arrow, written by the people who worked on the show. Characters from the show have been brought in. Yes, to a certain degree, it does sort of mirror, parallel the show, but it's not really the show. It's still, Green Arrow, and because you know it's different. Yes, it's got similar things to the TV show. It's brought elements from the TV show, which isn't a new thing. That comics sometimes get influenced by other media. Like I mentioned before, Superman's early history was influenced by its radio program back in the 1940s. So this is not an unusual thing. Harley Quinn, uh, Livewire from their respective animated shows showing up. So, anyways, the story with the story in this issue deals with Green Lantern first saving Oliver and Oliver Queen and Felicity and Deagle, and after they were thrown off a building last issue, and they team up to try to bring the villain John King down, but which also brings in Katana, who has also been searching for John King. So this John King character, uh, he's referred to as a philanthropist. He's got good intentions to a degree, where he wants to help cities, be better, but the way he does it is not that good or that nice, I would say. He's sort of, like his name implies, his last name, he comes in and proclaims himself king of that city. So he helps people, but he wants something in return. So he's helped hundreds of people within the various cities, in Seattle in particular. Uh, but they have, whenever he asks them for something, they have to do it. So it's not like he helps them out of the kindness of his heart. He actually expects something back. So he pretty much has everybody, jumping hoops for him. Uh, so if he says kill someone, they kill someone. Uh, like last issue when Green Arrow was fighting, Merlin, or Tommy Merlin, one of the cops was ordered by Mr. King not to do anything to help Green Arrow. In this issue, after he orders the people at the hospital to pretty much kill anyone with the terminal disease, just like that, and just except for one doctor, everybody just says we have to do it, and they do it without uh, pretty much leaving all of their morality on the side. Uh, then of course a bounty for Green Arrow's head is put 5 million for whoever can either bring information or capture Green Arrow. Um, so I've been really enjoying it. Uh, uh, the story as well, it sort of, brings some of the old elements of Green Arrow. By the way, I mean, I mentioned before that Andrew Kreisberg, who co-plots the book, actually wrote the old Green Arrow drawing in the Green Arrow Black Canary book, a few years ago. So he is familiar with Green Arrow, the old Green Arrow, and so he's brought some of that in a very different way. Definitely, John King is setting up a system, you know, to help people, but it's a corrupt system and pretty much a system to serve him. So he pretty much is corrupting society. And Green Arrow is now trying to fight that system and bring it down. So again, we kind of have some of that elements from the past, sort of like teaming up Green Lantern and Green Arrow as well. It's got a lot of nods to that. And this story really starts, this issue actually sort of, well, not this issue, but the whole story as a whole so far sort of shows that, shows how John King is building up this system to serve him, to make him, the king of Seattle, or whatever other series he's been helping. Uh, but he does it in a way that's not really appropriate. There's, intentions, good intentions, but it's just how you realize those intentions, you execute those intentions, that makes you a good guy or a bad guy, I guess. Finally, Green Lantern number 38. So this is the first issue post God's Head. So it's sort of like a down issue in the sense, Green Lantern Hal goes back to Earth. For the most part, it's pretty crazy issue because Hal goes to his old wearing hole, and then which is a pilot's bar. So when Guy Gardner shows up, there's some problems. Same goes when Barry Allen shows up, which I'm wondering which version of Barry it is. If it's present day Barry, or if it's the future Barry who's hanging around in the Flash right now. But it kind of gets crazy. You get what you expect out of having a Guy Gardner in a bar. So it does end up with a bit of a bar brawl. At the very end, Carl shows up. They have a nice heart to heart, and it sort of parallels a bit to what Green Arrow said at the end of the issue to Hal Jordan, which is, you haven't been on Earth for a long time. You get the same thing here where Carl tells him that Hal doesn't really know who he is. Is he, a test pilot or a intergalactic cop? So we have, let me get my thoughts straight. So pretty much, Carol now is dating Kyle Reiner, uh, so that's kind of bad for Hal. It does affect that, you know, Carl is no longer with him, but at the same time, Carl tells him that if he doesn't really, uh, you know who he is as a person, you know where his life should be, you know who he's supposed to be. You need to find himself first. You know, you know before he can really share his life with with anybody else. Um, so I think so. It was a really great issue. Certainly touch a few point moments for Hal, because Hal did seem kind of lost. You know, uh, he came. We went to that particular bar to just he didn't want Hal or Barry there in the first place. He just wanted to be somewhat alone. Kind of think about life, I guess. And Carl really nails it, just like Ollie here did, telling Green Lantern, telling Hal, make up your mind of who you're supposed to be. So those were my DC books for this week. I think they were all interesting reads. Those were all very interesting reads. So very happy for this week of books. So this week I only have one official book. It's a very slow week for me this week. I have one book I only have two books coming out this week, so I'm actually doing another quick review probably next week, actually next Monday or Tuesday, because I have Justice League United at the large shop. Superman, Wonder Woman, I probably will be picking it up on Monday, cause it's from the small shop, so I might not go there until next Monday. So yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling on here. I'm just talking nonsense. So until next time, keep smiling.